As the deeply complex person that you are, I'm sure you've gone through life asking a lot of simply unanswerable questions. But, luckily for us, people have spent hundreds of years developing countless existential theories to help us cope with the unknown. Theories that eventually went on to establish things like religion and horror media, both of which, strangely enough, offer parallel responses to some of life's bigger mysteries. Think about it. Horror media often builds narratives that are rooted in religious themes like good versus evil, sin and redemption, the supernatural, and the afterlife. However, there's rarely any serious theological reflection in horror media, in the West at least. Even distinctly religious horror often refuses to go beyond the use of crucifixes and holy water to make a statement bigger than Satan bad. Which, yeah, we know. I guess what I'm saying is that there's so much to explore in the intersection of horror and religion that it's incredibly frustrating to see it overlooked and undervalued. Until someone does it right. Faith, the Unholy Trinity, is hands down the best example of religious horror in the video game sphere. Set in 1987, the series follows John Ward, an unordained minister, as he tries to complete the year-old exorcism gone wrong of Amy Martin. As the series progresses, we come to learn about the satanic cult responsible for Amy's possession and hopefully stop them before they complete this huge ritual called the Profane Sabbath. Essentially, they want to summon a demon for the ultimate goal of world domination, probably. If you're familiar with Faith at all, I'm sure the distinctive art style is what you remember most, and for good reason. From Atari-inspired graphics to the 8-bit soundtrack to synthesized dialogue lines that are definitely not unsettling.
Lisa, thank God you're alright. Good, what are you so good? It's so dark, I can't see the light anymore. I got here as fast as I could. Let's go, Lisa. I'm not Lisa.
Faith is completely dedicated to the era it's set in. I also just want to take a second to point out how amazing these rotoscope cutscenes are. They do a great job of amping up the horror atmosphere and distinguishing Faith's visual style. Okay, quick history lesson. The 1980s in America were riddled with this phenomenon called the Satanic Panic. Essentially, parents of teenagers and children, but mostly teenagers, were so paranoid of their kids getting involved in satanic cults that there was a huge uproar against anything that was even remotely non-Puritan. I'm talking rock music, horror movies, pornography, graffiti, even just not wanting to have kids were all supposed markers of demonic influence. There was a very illogical collective mental jump that connected these behaviors to more serious issues like necrophilia, cannibalism, child sacrifices, the list goes on.
Almighty Satan, destroy those who love God.
Although not connected to the Church of Satan, these 12-year-old boys, with their parents' consent, demonstrated how they were taught to inflict pain on their enemies. They also claimed they witnessed sacrificial murder by members of...
In reality, this whole panic was largely based on unsubstantiated rumors and false allegations that ended in nothing productive. But still, the Satanic Panic was a very real thing that happened, and I absolutely love how Faith leans into that era in aesthetic and narrative. What I love even more is the protagonist's moral ambiguity. In a lot of religious media, we typically follow a character who is just short of godlike themselves with very few flaws, if any, and unwavering faith at all times. John Ward, however, actively questions and reevaluates his faith at several points throughout the game.
Father, last year when I first met Amy, I saw the devil. He betrayed me. I don't think I'll ever be free of Amy. I don't think my faith will ever be as strong as it once was.
When he comes out at the end, more devoted to God and his position in the Catholic Church than ever, it feels a lot more authentic. As you play the game and encounter various enemies, you'll quickly find that many characters go through body disfigurement, sometimes willingly, sometimes not. Although this is certainly not a trait limited to religious horror, it does have an added layer of apparent sacrilegion, if you choose to see it that way. However, in a world where evil is violently diabolical, there must be good that matches its energy with aggressive benevolence. And there is. Not just in the way your companion handles his rifle, but also in how hard you, as John Ward, fight to make things right. If supernatural evil exists, then so must supernatural good, which is a comforting thought. But not all evil in this world is supernatural. Throughout the game, we hear a lot about Gary, the cult's leader. Specifically, we hear about how much he loves us and is a very normal human being, just like you and me. Like the sick freak I am, I really enjoy how manipulative Gary is. Like with our protagonist, he seems to have the teensiest bit of moral ambiguity, especially when we learn that he wants to complete the profane Sabbath to honor his mother, which is kinda sweet when you think about it. He's just a little mama's boy. But seriously, people are manipulative. People can exploit your vulnerabilities and tell you they love you while doing it, and it's so important to be aware of situations like that. Admittedly, Faith isn't the most advanced example of how psychological manipulation works, but I applaud the attempt to emphasize how just some guy can be evil. It's not just devils and demons you have to look out for. Anyway, all of that is to say that Faith the Unholy Trinity is my top contender for religious horror. It's beautiful, it's complex, it's terrifying, and most importantly, genuinely fun to play. If you haven't already, I recommend trying it out. I don't think you'll be disappointed. If you are familiar with Faith, please let me know what you think about it in the comments, and I will respond soon. Stay safe out there.
Let's go fight some demons.